What's up, everybody? Welcome back to VectorSigma.info. Dan here, member of the Alpha Trion Protocols, and today I got something a little fun for you. So those of you that were in the room in the Discord for the Autism Acceptance event, I made a little bit of a wager with co-teammate and friend John Palmer that had he won a match in the event, that I would play 8-Face in the next possible event that we had to play in. Well, good old John Palmer put together Volcanicus, and he won a match with it. So, I have to play 8-Face. So, because of that, we are in Junkion, which is helpful, at least. I wasn't completely handicapped here, because at the end of the day, he's not the greatest 10-star option in the format. He's probably the 5th or 6th best 10-star option, and if we added 9s and 8s and 7s that I would play over them, he's like really far down on the list. But that's okay. We're gonna make the best of it. That's the whole point. It's fun. Junkion's a great format, and there's a lot of ways that you can try and hedge your bets. So that's what we're gonna try and do. We're gonna try and hedge our bets and make an 8-Face deck that I think can do two things, right? This is pretty important for me. Step one is there a way that I can leverage any one of the triple changes modes? Since 8-Face is a triple change, he has Alt 1, Alt 2, and the normal bot mode. So that was step one. It's like, how can I build a deck that will hedge him correctly and give me a good chance at least playing into what that character can do? That's step one. Step two, as a designer for the Alpha Trion Protocols, playing an event with the card and playing a lot of matches with the card is important, because maybe it'll give me some incentive to create a stratagem for this character that would actually make it a fairly competitive character, right? So like, that's fun. So like, if I can get enough reps with the character and get an understanding of what the character may actually need, it might not be too hard to incorporate into a future ATP set. So that's also really big. And then step three is what I decided to pair him with, which I believe is something that's been really on the cusp of Junkion. And I think that, it's kind of the same concept of with 8-Face, where I need to play games and understand exactly what 8-Face might need to get a little bit of an edge and create a stratagem for him. I'm also going to be pairing him with our good friend, the Rescue Patrol. And because of that, we've had a bunch of people that, like, when we first announced Junkion back in, I think August of last year was our first Junkion event, was the first monthly Junkion event. And people were really excited to play the boats. They thought Rescue Patrol, and the reason, I should preface this, the reason, in case you didn't know, is that in the rules for Junkion, Tailwind is banned and Power Train is banned, because they're both would be pretty oppressive in the common format. As a 5-wide deck, each of them would be just, obviously, Tailwind is stellar beyond belief, and Power Train is another one that he's kind of paying for Tailwind sins. But because of that, you would go to the next teams, and the Sea-Watch, Private Sea-Watch, and the Rescue Patrol, they have a very interesting mechanic with the whites. And if you can create a deck list that really benefits from the whites, and maybe not too many whites, how much can you really cheat and get away with to get the extra battle flips? And I've seen a lot of the list throughout the time have played anywhere between 13 and 15 whites, and I think that was a critical downfall in the deck, to be honest. Because what I saw happening a lot is I would see, like, oh, I hit my 2 whites, so I get my extra battle cards, but then I'm hitting 2 or 3 more whites, and that's not really what you want to do. So I think that's one thing that when I was coming to the decision of playing the Rescue Patrol, because I want to get more information to see what I could possibly help the Rescue Patrol further down the line, whether it be a stratagem or maybe even a white card that was specific to Rescue Patrols. I think that those are things that I wanted to gather and take in the information. So I really wanted to do what I could to bring these two very different things together and play a bunch of games with them throughout the event, and get a real understanding of like what these characters might need to push them a little bit in the Junkion format, since I don't think Raider 8-Face has been like ever registered in any of the Junkion events we have, and all of the Rescue Patrol decks that have been registered, I don't think one's seen a top 8 yet. Don't quote me on that for sure, but I think in any of the monthlies that they were registered in, I don't think they top 8'd. I think they did top 8 one of the smaller one-day events, like maybe it was like 8 to 10 people, so it's kind of like you can't really judge that too often because it's not enough information to really take it away. But I'm pretty sure in any of the monthly events there wasn't any that have top 8 it. So that was like a big standing for me. It's like, okay, let's put these guys together. Let's build a deck that I think would do its best to create good situations for both Ape Face and the Sea Watch, and then we'll go from there, and we'll get the games in and we'll see what it's like. So I figured I take one out of the playbook from a good friend of mine, Christian Young, who's been doing this. He did the Snapdragon Quest for the month of April leading up to the Autism Acceptance event, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really interesting. So I figured I'd kind of bring that in with you guys and do that and show you my event by either the gameplay videos I have and then the streaming videos. I'm probably going to do some streaming for sure. And then this will be like the initial, all right, let's make Ape Face something. We can't say great again because he was never great. So let's make Ape Face something. Like that's what we're going for here. So, of course, we're going to go with the deck name, which is all the important. So we're going to call this Ape Escape, because the rescue patrols are, they're going to hopefully help Ape. They're going to hopefully help us escape with some wins. All right, that's what we're hoping for. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to try. We're going to try. All right, so we'll go to our characters. And for you who aren't familiar with this, if this is the first time you're tuning in and you're looking at this website, this is teletron1.net. They are pretty awesome, and they're pretty supportive of all the Alpha Trion Protocol sets that we create, and they import them into their deck building system so we can use them, and they're great for our tournaments and stuff. Like you can see over here, the tournament breakdown tab is really sweet. Every once in a while, however, the website's a little wonky, it's a little slow, but that's okay. We manage because it's really like the best tool we can have. And personally, I really love the interface on this. There was definitely a getting used to situation for me where I had to like get really formal with like the way it worked, but like now that I understand how the system works, and like we can literally just go in here and we can make our life pretty easy, right? We'll just click this off, and then we're just gonna click rarity, and we just want commons, right? So that's all we want. That's all we're gonna build our deck with anyway. So that's really sweet. So we can go with that. But in the end, we already know what we're playing, so we're gonna go with Raider 8 Face. We're gonna stick him in our deck there, and there he is, guys. We are rolling. We are rolling. All right, and then we're gonna have we have Sea Watch. I believe it's Fix It, and yeah, Red Heat. All right, so we're gonna go with Fix It, and Red Heat. Ooh, what happened here? Oh, that would be helpful, huh? If I could spell. That's okay. There he is. So yeah, so we're gonna go with the 10-5-5-4, which is gonna give an extra star. We could go down to the 5-4-4 and get 2 stars, but I'm opting to go with the 5 stars because I really want the extra health. One of the more dominant cards in the format is Hold the Line, so we really want to have a character that, if it's at full health, you can play Hold the Line and he's not going to die, or be weary of a dying situation where, like, say they have Gaming Crash or Precision Fire or Zap, like any of those things where if they hit it, my Hold the Line might not be good enough. So if most of the characters in the format are 7, 6, and 5, I want to make sure that my Red Heat at 8 is going to potentially steal, quote, steal an attack and be able to live, because I think that's really important. It's something that we're going to really need to do to leverage spots in the game. So that 8 health is more important to me than the lower health character with the star. So that's kind of why I'm going with Red Heat. So let's go into the battle cards. Obviously with the way that the boats work, we're going to have to have some number of whites. I think what I've decided on is 10 or maybe 11. We're going to put this together, so we'll both look at it all at the same time. But I'm pretty sure I didn't want to be 15. I didn't want to be 13. I even think 12 is just too much. I really, really want to be at 10 or 11 because I think a fourth of my deck, along with a correct flow of bold, is going to be the way I want it to be. Like, I want to have the bold number so where if I can get bold 2 or bold 3 on a character, that's going to be enough to carry me to get the second white, so then the whites can then additionally flip me more battle cards. That's really where I want to be. I don't want to be like playing 15 whites, so like just on normal attacks I hit whites and then all I'm doing is hitting whites, so if I have a bold I'm hitting too many. Like I really want to play the route where if I hit the second white, then awesome. But if I don't hit the second white, it's okay because that means I hit 3 oranges. Like, I think that's the way I want to play this deck. It's like where I would love to be able to always hit it, but I'm going to be okay if I don't hit it, because if I don't hit it, it probably means that I just hit a bunch of oranges instead, and my attack is still going to be really nice. And then when I do hit it, hopefully it spreads my attack into a higher number than I wasn't anticipating. And it's going to give me more outs in certain games. That's really where I want to be. I want to be like that high risk, high reward scenario, but like it's going to be like a low risk, high reward, because I want it to be like, all right, well, if I don't hit that second white, it's not the end of the day. It doesn't mean game over. It just means that my deck didn't hit that second extra set of battle cards. So like I'm not going to quote get that like free leap in the battle like with my flips or anything like that. But it probably means that I got at least 3 oranges on the first attack, which is like where I probably want to be with most of my attacks anyway. Alright, so let's get into it. Let's do the same thing. Let's get rid of all the rarities. Let's go straight to commons. So we don't make any mistakes, right? It's really easy. Like, I've seen some players register their decks, and I don't think they're clicking this common only thing, and I think that's really, really important. That's where you want to be, because if you click the common only thing, you can't mess up. You can't register a card that's not a common, so that's really, really helpful. You know, you're going to see all these C's, and even, let's just say I type in a card that's not one, right? So let's say I was looking for a disarm. Well, I'm going to know now by typing this in that disarm is not a common. So like, oh, I can't play disarm. So if I wanted to play disarm, like, great, I can't do that now. But like maybe in my mind, like, oh, I want to play disarm because that's a really good card. But then you go and, oh, I can't play disarm, it's not in the format. But I can see that disassemble is, and that's a black-green, and maybe I just want to play the black-green instead, right? Like, it's just things like that. So, like, if you set this to common, you're going to be in a better position because you're not going to mess up in Junkion by registering the wrong card. So that's really, really important. And then, obviously, you can do this, too, where you can, like, particularly choose the correct sets. So you're not also registering anything that you're not supposed to. Oop, fuck. So yeah, so these are all the sets that are gonna be legal for the Alpha Trion event. So that's what we want to do with. We want to make sure we don't mess up there too. All right, but let's get into it. Let's start building this deck, right? So we're definitely gonna be orange. We're definitely gonna be bold. So we're gonna need flamethrowers, right? That's definitely what we're playing. We're gonna play 3 of these guys. Get us some flamethrowers. Let's get us some combat daggers. I know this card is not spectacular, but we need it, unfortunately. It's just kind of where we're at. Another good bold weapon, and it's going to up our wipe count. It's going to be whips. So let's get that whip game in here. I think we're just going to play 2 of those guys. And we're going to see, we're going to mold this deck together and then kind of come back and figure it out, like what we need longer term. But that's 8 weapons to start. We're going to get a green weapon in here. It's just going to be a batons. Cool. So, I got that going. We're going to put this away, and then we're going to get into the utilities. The cool thing about the Rescue Patrol is that they're all specialists. So, that's pretty sweet because a card like Field Communicator is actually a really, really strong card in the format because you're already kind of like playing behind the 8 ball in a slower format that like the fact that you can just actively play field communicator because A, it's a white which plays into your strategy, and B, all your guys are specialists except for 8-face over here who's range and melee and things like that. But that's a big deal because you can play these cards, and you can play, we're going to play 3 field communicators because once again we have at least 3 specialists in our deck that can take a field communicator, play an extra card, and get a +1 attack. So I think that's a really, really strong. It's a big up for us for sure. And then we're gonna look into armors, and we're gonna have a bunch of armors actually. So we're pretty top heavy. So we're gonna play a force field. All right, we're not gonna go crazy. We're not gonna play 3 or anything like that. Which, for what's worth, that could be wrong, but that's okay. That's what we're going with. We're gonna get some bashing shields in here. 1, 2. We're gonna get a Bullseye Aegis, which is gonna be our star card. I really, really was considering Aura Dominance. I've opted out of it because I had too many whites that were already playable and that they were more alive. Where I thought the aura I don't have an 11-star character, so it would have just been 10s. So all it really would have been like a star that cost me 2 health, and if I really wanted to 2 health, I probably could just play Medikit, and I'm not even doing that. So I didn't feel that my star was going to be good enough being utilized as the Aura of Dominance, which is why I decided to go with the Bullseye Aegis instead. Emergency Barricades, another one. We're going to put one of those in there. We're going to talk about the Emergency Barricades and the Force Fields in a little bit, but the concept really is I can't necessarily always afford to I like the Wi-Fi ones. Put the Wi-Fi ones in there. I can't always afford to kind of take turns off by playing super hyper defensive. So I think it'll be really good later in the game when I'm just down to a Sea Spray or something like that, and my Sea Spray has 3 or 4 base defense already, and then I put a barricade on him, and all of a sudden he's 6 base defense, and then it's okay, try and beat this. But the big deal here is the barricades. The barricade's not great against the Pierce decks, right? Because they don't care about that, so that's where the Force Field is better. But the barricade's going to be better against the more bold orange decks where it's okay, you're gonna go over the top. I guess the force field's the same too, but the really truth is I don't want to play too many force fields because I'm committed to playing other whites. So because of that, I wanted some more defense, but I wanted to stay on color with orange. So I'm gonna go with a barricade and a force field split, and then I'm gonna probably play some number of them in the sideboard. So we'll see what we get to. All right, now let's get over actions. Let's just get in there because this card is a card that's in every single deck in the metagame. I think a lot of people play 3 of this card, and quite frankly, I don't think you really need to. I think if you're spending too many turns playing Hold the Line, then you might be taking an extra turn that you don't need, if that makes sense. I have to play Hold the Line every turn, or my guys are always going to die. Well, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. So if you don't always play Hold the Line, you just play a card that lets you kill your opponent's character, you're probably doing all better off. And then at the end of the day, Hold the Line is a green, so you can easily cycle through your deck and find it, especially in decks like mine where I'm playing 10 or 11 whites, and I get the ability to flip extra cards when I hit 2 whites. So cycling through my deck is gonna be really, really easy. So playing a Hold Line and then finding it again later is not going to be hard for me to do, and it's not going to be hard for me to find it either. Because even the first one, I'm going to flip, let's say 4, 5, 6 cards in my first swing, and then I'm going to defend. And remember the way the Private Sea Watch works. When I confirm real quick is battles. So if I flip 2 whites on defense, it means I'm going to flip more cards on defense also. So I could be flipping 6 cards on defense and 6 cards on offense. And in that time, I'm gonna find Hold the Line. So if I really need them in those games, I have the ability to continuously find them. So that's really, really important. It's something easy to remember. Another good white for us that we're gonna play is Head-On Collision. Not all of my guys were always gonna attack in alt mode. However, 8-face is always gonna attack in alt mode, and 8-face being being 8 base bold 2 is it's probably the best we can ask for him in this deck, to be honest. If we can get him to 8 bold 4 with his ability and with a flamethrower, like he's gonna hit like a truck, and it's gonna feel really great. So that's kind of where we want to be with that. I think the next card is gonna be one of the only off-pit colors in the entire deck, but I don't think you can play Junkion without playing this card. I know you can make an argument that you want all the colors in the world, but Caming Crash as a card is just insane. It's really, really good with stealth. So like you can easily just Caming Crash your Sea-Watch because he's gonna not be touched until the end of the game almost all the time, except for like random spotlights or something like that. Or like there's just not a lot of things in the format that interact with stealth. So you can always just Caming Crash him for free and hide him, and then get the 2 bolt. And then the other thing is, when in doubt, you can Caming Crash your own Raider 8-face to turn on the bowl, which is somewhere we want to be also. So that's another part of it. So that's kind of important. So it's one of the, like I said, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's correct at all to not play Caming Crash in the format. It's just one of the most powerful cards in the format, especially with cards like Hold the Line and stuff like that running around, where it's like, you know, a guy's like, oh, I'm safe. I'm within range of Hold the Line, so his guy can't kill me. Well, I Plasma Burst you and then swing, and then you're like, oh shit, like now he has lethal. So it's another way around that card, which is a big deal. We are playing Bold.deck, so we definitely need some supercharges. 1, 2, 3. We definitely need some fight positions. Right? I mean, like, these are all cards that we just need and are important. Let's get rid of those things. And what are we going to finish our deck off with, right? So that's kind of where we are now. So this is, what do we got? We have 33 cards currently. So I had a bit of trouble deciding where I was going to go with this. I decided to play a couple Precision Fires. Same thing, like I wanted the extra damage if I needed it, like that ping damage, even if it's enough to just make up for the Hold the Line play. Like if they're just like, oh, I have 5 health left, he has a 5-star left. If I hold the line, I'll go to 6 health, which makes me not in range, which means I can hold the line and basically steal an attack from a character. Those plays will happen really, really often in the format. So even just having a 1 damage, like a zap, like literally like a zap is just playable right now in my opinion, because it just counters that hold the line play. At least sometimes can counter the hold the line play. Precision Fire is the same concept where you can go and hit multiple cards and multiple characters and still get that zap effect when you really need it, which I think is really, really important. Once again, it also hits 8-face, which is helpful too, because we want to turn our 8-face on, so we want to have good ways of turning our 8-face on. And the black count in the deck, like you can see here, it's like an 11. It's not like stellarly high, but it's there. It'll come up. I don't think that's what our deck is trying to do though. So it's one of those. It's like, well, I like to have the number, so hopefully like not every attack is just dead in the water against blue decks, right? Like, or against like emergency barricade decks and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to just be straight dead in the water. I want to make sure I'm getting some type of damage in. So like having the 11 blacks and having the bold that I do, like even if I'm just gonna get to like a bolt, like a Pierce 3 or something like that, it's still gonna be better than not doing anything in those certain situations. So that's why like we have that number of blacks, but I don't think we're getting any higher than that. So the other one is gonna be because we have so many armor, so many like really good armors, we have to go with Armored Assault. So we're gonna play 2 of these. I mean, like you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 armors, and 2 of them are greens. So like, there's a lot of warrant to just having this Armored Assault. In the end, like it will give us bold, it will give us +2 attack. So like that's a big deal with any of these attacks. Like at the end of the game with the Sea-Watch going to like a 5 base bold 1 plus whatever the upgrade is on at a time, like that's a big deal. Like it's gonna be really, really helpful to us to get those numbers, and this is just a really solid card in the format, like especially if we're gonna play 8 armors. There's not really a downfall to this. So here we are now, we have 37 cards, and this was like the really, really tough one, because I really, really wanted to play Scouting Mission to add to that black count when in doubt, and to have some spot blues. But I really started looking, and I'm just like, man, like 28 oranges doesn't feel like enough for an orange deck. And especially in this meta, if I'm not going to play a higher black count, then I just need to play more oranges. So I wanted the draw cards, and I just decided to go with a super oldie but goodie in Incoming Transmission. So we're just going to play 3 Incoming Transmissions. This card it's pretty straightforward. It's just a draw 1, basically. It will allow us to set up whites on top of our deck to like know that we're always going to have at least 1 white on top of our deck. That's really the main goal here. But you can see we got to 40 cards and we only have the 10 whites. So this is a little bit more incentive also, where it's like I'm going to dig for cards and then I'm going to be able to put the white that I don't need back on top of the deck. This way I can have a better chance at extending my attacks through the Sea Watch, and that's the way we went there. So now let's get into that sideboard, right? So the sideboard options. So first, I'm gonna tell you the character first, and then we'll load the character because we already saw like what the load time is. So I don't want to have to go back and forth. But we're playing a Whirl, right? So the new Whirl from ATB3 for the Wreckers. So it's a Wrecker and it's a specialist. So what's cool about that is that it gives us a 4th specialist in play. So that means all of our dudes are alive. And it gives us a Wrecker, so it's a double down. So the big reason why I really wanted to do that is, once again, that hold line is it's just a nuisance in the format, right? Well, this card, Never a Dull Moment, doesn't care about secrets now. And now you get a Wrecker that's insane, that just gets to bounce their card back to their hand. So it gets to bounce their secret action back to the hand, and then your whole team is specialists. So you also just get the scrap a card from their hand. Like it's a straight amazing play when your opponent goes, "Oh, I'm safe, I'm good. I'll play my hold the line and pass," and you're gonna be like, "Never a Dull Moment. Get rid of your secret action. You're not safe. Swing, kill your guy." I really believe that this is gonna be really, really powerful for me out of the sideboard against secret action decks. And like I said, since hold the lines in every single deck, if I didn't have to play 8-face, I would 100% main deck All About Whirl, or not All About Whirl, but Whirl in my deck, because I want to be able to get rid of hold the lines at a little minimal cost. And if the minimal cost is play an orange in my deck that bounces the card back to the hand and makes them scrap a card, and then just play a weapon and like swing, I would much rather be in that position. Because a lot of players are really, really, really relying on that hold the line, and Never a Dull Moment is like the perfect answer to it. So we are definitely going with a solid 3 of in the board, 100%. Another thing is we're going to all Autobots, and since we already have like the cheat for field communicators, and we talked about extending the turns and getting more returns, we're gonna put. Oh, shit. Oh, get rid of those. We're going to throw 2 confidence in our sideboard, because we're going to go into all Autobots, and we really want to just we want to be able to play our best turns, and confidence is a way that allows you to play your best turns. So that's like the big thing. It's just about like getting through your hand and finding the right cards. It's about finding the Never a Dull Moment to get rid of the hold the lines when you need it and things like that. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to go with more emergency barricades. So we're going to go with emergency barricade. Why are you doing this to me, game? So we're going to go and we're going to finish the set and go up to 2. Once again, I wanted to keep the orange count high, and I didn't want to go below it. So I'm choosing barricades over force fields, and there's a really good chance that I'm wrong, and we're going to see if that's true at the end of the event. If there's enough decks in the format that are just like 5 Pierce 5 decks, then like barricade's not going to be a good card. It's just not. It's going to end up really hurting us if we're wrong about this, but it's just a constant choice that we're going to make that we just hope pays off. But there is a good chance that this is just flat wrong, and we should just be playing force field, so we only take 4. Another big thing with the Whirl is the Whirl has a Pierce 3 base, which is pretty insane. So we wanted to like find a way to utilize that. And I think the best way to do that is going to be with Surprise Attack. So, like, it just makes our Whirl a Pierce 6, which is just, like, awesome. We can't really ask for a better thing. Like, when in doubt, like, if all our Whirl needs to do is just guaranteed Pierce 6 something, that's going to be pretty sweet. You can just take out the head-on collisions, basically. Like, when I board in the Whirl, I'll probably take out head-on collision and just bring in Surprise Attacks. That'll be like my easy swap, because I want the ability to just have that, like, the Pierce 6, and then not to mention like the ability to where you flip any orange blacks at that point, you just get to Pierce 7 or Pierce 8 out of your whirl attack. And I think that's going to be like a really, really good spot for us if that's what we get down to. So that puts us to 9 cards. And yeah, it's a really, really tough decision on what like this last card's supposed to be. And I think I like jumped around a bunch and I didn't really know what I wanted to be. And like I still kind of don't know what I want it to be. So I think it's a really, really tough choice. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is probably playing it too safe and actually just playing a force field. And this way, like, I have a bit of coverage on both ends of the spectrum with the defense decks. So, like, if my Barricade's not good in those matchups, I'll just take Barricade out and put my other force field in and just kind of be happy about that. But, you know, this is our 50 card list. 20 actions, 20 upgrades. I think it's really, really important to try and stay as much on that as you can in the format. Unless you're a blue deck that's playing multiple brainstorms and has like a ton of draw power, like you can kind of get away with like a 24-16 list, you know, out of blue, because you can afford to play those things and double down. You're drawing so many cards. You're playing you know, like the War of Attritions and stuff like that in most blue decks, and there's a lot of like other ways that you can like manipulate having the extra cards in hand. So that's why like I think blue is more easy to do it that way. But I think if you're playing an orange deck, you should really try to be on that 20-20 count, because you just can't really afford to miss a resource in a turn. And what I mean by that is like you can't afford to just have all actions in your hand and then be screwed, and then or have all upgrades in your hand and be screwed. So like you really, really need to go action upgrade every turn to like move the game forward and compete. So that's why to me it's like I really, really want to stay as even keel as that as possible. So we're gonna finish this off. We're gonna put our whirl in there. There he is. Here's our whirl, and yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the Ape Escape deck that we're playing in the Junkion event this month. So like I said, throughout the month I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna be streaming. I'll be recording my games if I can't stream for whatever reason, and we'll do like a bit of play-by-play with the how the rounds are going and how the deck is moving forward. Like I said, I don't have a ton of high hopes for this list. I like the battle deck as a whole, and I think that it's doing what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, like the character choices that we have they're definitely below the bar of some of the other playable characters in the format. So we're definitely a bit handicapped trying to make this particular type of deck work. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the deck plays, and I'll be back with another episode to let you know how my event's going and stuff like that. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for helping me build this deck and kind of going through my thought process of the entire thing. Like I said, it's a good chance to try some lower powerful cards and see if there's anything we can do to take them up a notch and make them more playable in the format. All right, guys, have a good one, and catch you later.